kind of like the last frontier, isn't it? In Dublin, because nobody knows what the docks was like unless the people that were there. Everybody has a connection to the docks, but they don't know they do. And there's some sort of romanticism to that. And the story of like the lads all going to the pub, then going back to the hatch. There were no rules, but they didn't slack, they got the job done. And they're probably the hardest working people that this city has ever produced. My name is Lee Coffey and I'm the writer of In Our Veins. The show is about a docker family over the course of 97 or 100 years of Dublin. So it starts off at the funeral of a docker in 2019 and we follow the story of his mum and where he came from and his birth, and then we go from 1922 to 1938, his first day on the docks with his dad, 1938 to 55 when he meets his wife, 55 to 71 through decasualisation, containerisation of the docks, and his retirement and his eventual death to bring us back to the start of the play. Now I tried to put the blend between a theatrical show and as well as trying to hide the research without just bashing people over the head with it. That was the toughest part, because you have so much from the port and the docks as well as the Monto, and try to tie that together in a way that makes sense, that people that don't know anything about the docks would care about and that they'd easily be able to follow across 100 years, and to make the history of it clear, all the same while doing the port justice and doing the men justice and the people that were telling this story.
As soon as I read it, I was dying to get involved. It's a great play. I kind of found the idea of it a bit scary. It was definitely going to be a challenge, but I always think that's a good thing. Well, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not a dub. So I'm from Southeast England originally, but I've been living in Dublin for 17 years now. So I know Dublin fairly well. It's been my home for a good length of time, but I also feel I'm still constantly discovering things about Dublin's history, and I love that. I love discovering more about a city and about a place. The fact that one specific area, of the city kind of been through so many transformations, in a relatively short amount of time, but at the same time you feel like the people haven't changed that much. There's that salt of the earth, goodness, a sense of community that I feel is still present within that area.
Yeah, so I was more nervous about the dockers coming to see the play than anybody else, because I sat down with them and they invited me in and let me talk to them and ask them any question I wanted, and they were honest with me, so I wanted to make sure that I did them justice. So when they came to see the show, they didn't go, that's not what the docks was like, but they all come up afterwards and they said it was the most accurate depiction they had seen, which to me that's just the review you want, isn't it?
I think it just really made me think about how hard life was for people. That people constantly say nowadays, oh, I'm starving or I'm freezing, but that people back then actually were starving and freezing. We sometimes don't realise how lucky we are, and I think working on a play like this does make you, aware of how lucky we are.
My name's Aisling O'Mara and I am playing a few characters in this play. Lily the lamppost, Mary and Esther Doyle.
How are you, Granda?
You don't say how are you to your dead Granda.
Rehearsals have been going really good. It's a monster of a piece, so we're going from decades, which is interesting but also challenging at the same time.
I'm Catherine Byrne and I play Esther, Mary and May. It's a big story where we're following one man from his birth to his death, and it follows a huge period in time. And I think it'll be nostalgic, I think it'll be funny, I think it's heartbreaking too.
My name's Amelia Stewart and I am playing the roles of Anne Brady and Margot, and then some smaller ensemble parts as well. My favourite part of the rehearsal process so far has been the movement, because I didn't realise there was going to be so much movement in the piece. Also singing in the piece. Such things they will happen, such things you will see.
My name is Jack Malarkey and I am playing young Patrick along with other characters. I think it's so stylised and it's so slick and it really tells a story, and you really are just transported to this world through the movement and the stylisation of it.
We go right from the very beginning of the play
I'm Gerard Byrne and I play two principal characters, one guy called Bloody and the main guy, Patrick, as an older man. Maisie's terrific. She's very good in encouraging actors to be totally involved in the development of the thing, but she herself is very forensic, so you know exactly what you're doing at any given moment, and that makes an actor feel very secure on stage.
She lets you find things yourself. She lets you kind of fluidly get into the part yourself, which is great. Audiences can expect a really heartfelt piece, but with like loads of laughs, I hope.
I'm Ian Lloyd Anderson and I play Patrick and other roles. I suppose just to be able to kind of become, or sort of inform themselves more on what life is like on the docks.
Laughter, tears, movement, song. It is like a love letter to Dublin. It's gorgeous and it really captures the hardship and the cruelty, but also the love and the joy and the community over the last 100 years, I think.
The Pump House Presents marks a big intervention by Dublin Port Company into the centre of the port. We're creating a 2-acre heritage area which will open next year for exhibitions and performances. And what we're seeing over the last few weekends is we've been filming these plays, and these are really our first chance to show off the Pump House and this area.
2 years ago we were commissioned by Dublin Port as a part of their Port Perspectives initiative.
From the get-go have been incredibly welcoming and incredibly supportive, I suppose.
But the fact that you get to come down to buildings like this is brilliant, and that Dublin Port are letting people in and trusting people, and they almost leave you to it, which is great.
Very much wanted to use the Pump House and kind of show off a very beautiful and unique building.
It feels like a Dublin space, and Charlie is such a Dublin story.
It just felt like a building that was full of stories.
It's a great setting for something like this. It's so atmospheric. I mean, as soon as you walk in terms of theatricality, half the work is done for you before you even start with lights or actors or scripts or whatever, you know.
You can kind of feel the ghosts creeping out of the brickwork.
It's one of them places where the walls speak 1,000 words.
The haze and all the cameras and all, it was like walking onto a normal set.
The high voltage sign, the dingy door, that big machine in the corner, the chains hanging from the ceiling. It has a lot of character, and I said it already, it lends itself to theatre. It lends itself to storytelling, I think.
So the Pump House is uniquely placed in the fact that it's wedged in between two building sites. We had to bring in all our own infrastructure. We were self-sufficient.
We didn't want to present them simply as plays that could be filmed in any theatre. We really wanted to take advantage of the fact that we're filming this with cameras, and the cameras can move and kind of be in the story with them.
It's a perfect marriage between good pieces of work and a brilliant crew, and people who know what they're doing on both sides of the fence. Finding the connection between the performer and the audience was the most difficult thing, but I think this is the world we find ourselves in, that as artists we have to adapt and we have to try find ways of making work, and why can't we work together?
In the time of COVID, where you're seeing so much work go online.
Resilience has been the name of the game ever since all of this started. It's really been like a guerrilla process of, you know, making theatre happen in unexpected places.
You're trying to capture the energy of theatre, the immediacy, the vibrancy of theatre, but with a certain stillness that is necessary for film.
I'm a great believer in kind of turning a crisis into an opportunity. And I think as well that there's a good opportunity to kind of reach out to a wider audience that maybe wouldn't come and see a play.
So this was our way of working with these theatre companies to kind of screen them and then get them out there to a wider audience. And then hopefully from 2021, after we're over this period of COVID-19, we're looking forward to carrying out more performances in this area.
Showered.
Dressed.
Looking good.
Looking well.
Bit of spray on.
Good to go.
Ready.
See you later, Dad.
I'm off, ma.